If you've ever wondered how certain creators, certain photographers, DPs, directors you look up to, or creatives in the industry end up on really interesting projects pretty regularly, they seem to be on high budget shoots or are just working on interesting campaigns, stuff that really suits them all the time. A lot of this all boils down to them having their signature style. Style is such an arbitrary term. It's something that we talk about often but don't really break down. So I just want to make a quick video today talking about your signature style and different ways you can start to develop it. So first, let's start out with what is a signature style or style in general. And a lot of people think about style as the specific filters or punchy editing techniques that you use. But in reality, a style is an amalgamation or a compilation of a wide variety of techniques. It really is the feeling that your work gives off. Style can flow across many different mediums. There are photographers that have an amazing style. There are directors that have a very clear style. And there are even sound specialists where when you listen to a piece of their work, you know exactly what their style is. In film and photography, your style mainly comes out in your lighting, composition, color, and subject matter. It's what makes someone look at a photo or a video and know immediately that it's something you made. Now, having a recognizable style isn't necessarily just about making something that stands out. It's about making something that's really memorable and can tie directly back to you. It's when clients can see your work and think, that's exactly the vibe I need for my brand. That's the power of unique style. Okay, so let's talk about building and refining your style over time. Your signature style isn't something that you just wake up with and know exactly what to do. It's something that you build up over time. To give you some personal context, let's talk about my signature style and how I use it to attract clients for commercial work. Now, I mainly do two types of commercial work. I do photo gigs and I do video gigs. For photo gigs, I do a lot of portrait and fashion/sports work. This is because over the years, I've done a lot of work, a lot of spec work, a lot of practice campaigns, and a lot of smaller gigs, mainly focusing on fashion and sports. I would say my signature style in photography mainly lies in the niche of film photography / punchy colors, really vibrant settings. I do a lot of environmental portraits. So for instance, I do a lot of campaigns in Japan, in Tokyo, working with streetwear brands or sportswear brands. Specifically, to give you an example, here's some images that we've shot downtown with a streetwear brand called Bape. Another one with Puma, where we did another kind of environmental portrait session in downtown Tokyo. And I've also worked with the sports brand On, doing some sports environmental portraits. Now, my signature style in photography really has developed over time, just mainly in the angles that I like to set up my models or my talent and the focal lengths of cameras that I end up using, along with the lighting. These are things that develop over time and slowly morph into basically the way that you like to take photos. The way that you like to take photos and the way that you end up being very proficient at taking photos essentially grows over time and develops into your signature style. When a brand, for instance, looks at the photos that I post, the photos that I share from campaigns or just previous work, they all kind of fit in a nice, similar looking fashion. They have a certain feeling, mainly with the color choices, the models posing, and the subject matter, where if someone looks at my body of work, it's pretty cohesive and it has a similar flavor across all shots. Similarly, maybe even more is my video work. So I shoot a lot of video that is meant for social campaigns. That's basically video shot primarily with the idea of being displayed on a phone. It's shot vertically or horizontally, then cropped vertically, and it's meant to be viewed on a phone or an iPad. And over time, I've worked on many campaigns where that is the primary asset, and the style of video that you shoot for that is pretty different than cinematic or traditional cinema or film or TV assets. A lot of these assets are mainly very quick editing. They have a lot of interactive elements, and essentially it's a lot of eye candy coupled with a little bit of storytelling. I'd say mainly over the past 4 to 5 years, specifically in terms of kind of the boom of social assets, I've really developed my style just by putting a lot of reps in and doing a lot of both for fun campaigns and also a lot of smaller campaigns, which have developed into larger campaigns with a lot of notable brands. I've touched on this on previous videos. I've made a quality through quantity video, but it's the same concept of just basically, you really develop your style by doing a lot of similar work and finding out what works and what doesn't work, what flows super naturally for you. And as you do these specific works, these specific repetitions over time, you figure out different ways to really elevate your game. And this just comes by repetition. As we talk about developing your style, let's talk about the specific tools and techniques that have particularly helped me. One thing everyone loves to talk about is gear. And I agree, gear and specifically the focal lengths you choose, particularly when you're shooting video or photos, can really shape your your specific style. A lot of my work is done in small crews or very solo-driven work settings where I'm shooting in small rooms or kind of narrow scenarios where the focal length that I end up choosing is a much wider focal length than people traditionally use for TV and cinema. My gear choices, particularly wide-angle lenses, kind of stem from a necessity standpoint where I needed that wider focal length to showcase the environment that we were shooting in while also highlighting the subject. These specific gear choices can evolve in natural ways, and so whatever gear that you end up really levitating towards, or stuff that you use constantly and stuff that you find works very well for your workflow, end up becoming part of your signature style. Another way that you can develop style through your technique or gear is editing. My editing a lot of times is really fast paced. I use a lot of sound design, and these things are really born out of necessity as well. I really wanted to hook my viewers, especially in short form video, with a really interesting sound and visual hook. I really enjoy punchy, vibrant colors as well. That's kind of like a stylistic choice that I've developed over time just because it's something I like to see, but since I've been using it so consistently, it's really become part of my signature style. When someone looks at a piece of video work from me, they could tell when it's vibrant and punchy and it's got high contrast, oh, that looks like it could be part of my portfolio. That's again something that when brands reach out to me, that's something they expect from me because it's such a relevant piece of my style, of my work portfolio, and it just becomes a part of my identity. And again, that's developed over time naturally. It's not something that's been forced, and it just develops over repetitions. I think the key here is to really experiment with different techniques or different editing styles or different light, just all the other variables that you can bring into your piece of work, whether that's photography, videography, or anything else. Just working on things at a constant rate and figuring out what works for you and what doesn't work for you, and really leaning into those pros and those positives and those strengths to really develop your style and hone in on those rather than necessarily focusing too much on increasing your, I would say cons, but things that you're not so strong at. I would really lean into your strengths and figure out ways to elevate that and showcase that more in your work. Speaking a little bit about case studies of my work and how this kind of plays into my current workflow and my overall client work, my signature style really has developed into a way or a segue of brands reaching out to me and looking for a particular style of work that they need for their social assets. A lot of inquiries that I get for work or client work is oftentimes, again, social assets, whether that be for a fashion brand or for a sportswear brand or something that perhaps they want like a city or an outdoorsy feel, just because those are the types of work that I share and also the types of work that I've been hired for. So my portfolio grows over time, and that's stuff that people look at me because it developed into my specific style. As much as people talk about this, and I think it's really true, niching down or really at least developing your professional portfolio or just stuff that you want to be known for really helps when a client looks at you or it looks at your profile, looks at your portfolio and your website, and they're like, okay, this person, let's say me, for example, Gaku knows how to work with kind of social assets, interactive assets, and he knows how to really bring something to life with a lot of high pace and energy. When you get to develop your portfolio and get known for that particular kind of like style or that particular, I guess, thematic choice, those sort of things really come into play when for instance, a client really is looking for something specific. They just want essentially to solve their problem by looking for somebody who can execute this particular vision. And if you're someone that can easily solve their problem, you should really work on showcasing that in your reel or your portfolio. And that's how you can attract those sort of jobs. As you're thinking about the tools and techniques to help develop your personal style and grow your body of work, you need a place outside of social media to showcase your portfolio. This is where you need a simple and stylish website, which can be done super easily with Durable. Durable is a fantastic website builder and business platform, perfect for creatives and entrepreneurs. When you want to set up an online portfolio website, the AI website builder is just a super easy way to get started. You can build a fully functional website in just 30 seconds. With just a few clicks, you can get a super solid foundation from which you can adjust which photos, which videos, which projects you want to highlight to attract the types of clients you want to work with. The key here is that you don't need any coding knowledge. The AI website builder takes care of everything for you, and you can actually generate your website for free before you decide which plan you want to continue with. There's various plans that'll help you with domain and website hosting, and overall it's just a super easy process. Durable also has other tools for small businesses, and it's an amazing platform to get your business started. If you want to try out Durable, click the link in the description or use my code GAKU30 for 30% off 3 months of subscription. Thank you, Durable, for sponsoring this video. Now, okay, we realize that having a specific style is super interesting, super great, but like there's so many photographers, there's so many videographers, there's so many people so talented on social media. You scroll through Instagram and TikTok and you see, wow, these guys are like pretty incredible. How will I ever develop my own style when everything's already been done? And I think that's really the beauty of this particular craft, specifically in video and photo, is that yes, most things have been done, but I think there's always room for people to go out and experiment and find combinations of things that work specifically for them, and they can showcase these combinations in new ways. The name of the game essentially is just practicing and experimentation. If you've already got specific work that you have lined up, either in a smaller scale or even have a bigger work that you're just working in specific niches, that's amazing. Continue with that. If you're looking to break into this specific line of work or these specific niches, a great way to do this is to just go out and shoot that sort of content and really practice that specific style, that line of work that you're really interested in shooting. One thing I really like to do is sit down and plan out mock photo shoots or mock video shoots around a theme that I'm really interested in shooting. Sometimes that's going out and shooting an outdoor theme because I'm really interested in outdoor photography, outdoor hiking brands, and that sort of stuff. Really creating that sort of plan to go out and shoot and being really intentional with planning out what specific assets you're going to come out with that shoot, and B, how you're going to use these assets, how you're going to showcase these assets in either your portfolio or in social media to highlight your potential capability, your potential to actually execute these style of photos or videos for a brand are really key when you're doing these. I wouldn't call them fake shoots because you're always practicing, but these sort of shoots where they're not necessarily spec work, but you're just making stuff to practice and also showcase your abilities. So finally, once you're developing your own style, the key here is how do you showcase your new work? How do you showcase your new style to attract potential clients? Your portfolio is basically your own personal advertisement. So when you craft your own personal advertisement, you only want to showcase the work that will attract the type of clients you want to work with. Basically, your portfolio should only showcase the best work in a specific niche or specific area that you're really interested in. I think the very difficult thing for a brand as they look at a particular photographer, a particular videographer, as a potential person to shoot their campaign is if they have a portfolio that's super wide and isn't really targeted to what they're trying to create, it's a little bit more difficult of a decision for them to make whether or not they're going to hire you for the specific shoot. You could curate your website or your Instagram to really highlight and only specifically show this style of work, or you could categorize everything. You could create different sets of portfolios. You can create different sections on your websites. There are different ways that you can go ahead and showcase this information, but really the only thing is that when somebody goes to your portfolio, whether that's on your website, whether that's on your Instagram, whether that's on any other social media platform, if you're looking to get hired in a specific field of work, then it's really important to really consolidate and showcase only your best pieces in that specific field. Another key point is as your style develops and you kind of elevate specific aspects of it, you might want to update your portfolio, your Instagram, whatever work that you share to highlight how your new pieces of work are really consolidated and your style is really consistent. You really kind of found your flow. Then you want to highlight that in your portfolio. So just keep it updated, and that's a great way to keep everything organized. You really want to think of your portfolio as a style statement. It's what a client looks at to understand your vibe instantly. Style isn't just about aesthetics. It's really the feeling that your work exudes anytime someone views it. It's a really great way to basically attract clients, a magnet, to increase the amount of professional client work that you get hired for. But overall, it's something that you just develop super naturally over time. As you do things more and more, you develop specific ways that you're really good at it. Your strengths increase and your specific style really just develops as you do something. I think the key takeaways and things that really helped me over time were being patient, but at the same time increasing my repetitions, really practicing my craft, and being really intentional with the type of work that I took on, the type of work that I practiced, and the type of work that I wanted to be hired for, then really developing and curating my portfolio to attract those sort of clients. If you have any questions on developing your particular style, leave in the comments below. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.